Look at this description of heaven in Psalm 24, verses 3 and 4. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord, the house of God? How can you get there? How can you live there? Who may stand in His holy place? Now, here's the answer to that question. Who can hang out with God? Who can be in God's presence? Verse 4, the one who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not trust in an idol or swear by a false God. Oh no, all of us are in trouble. Who lives with God? Those that have pure hands, a clean heart, that have never lifted up their soul to an idol or never sworn falsely. Can I ask you a question today? Let's just be logical. Are your hands completely pure? Of course they're not. All of us have sinned. We all have stains of sin on our lives, of things that we've done. And so we can't, by our own nature, have pure hands. Do you have a clean heart? No, all of us have hearts that have been marred by sin. We've all had things in our heart. There have been times you've had anger in your heart, and resentment in your heart, and bitterness in your heart, and hatred in your heart, and all kinds of other things in your heart. We all have, because we're human beings. Has there ever been a time in your life that you've lifted up your soul to an idol? Of course you had. There have been times in all of our lives where someone else or something else has been in front of God in our lives. It's called an idol. Have you been a person who's never sworn falsely? No, all of us have been guilty at times of twisting the truth and not being completely honest with ourselves and God and others. And so we have these issues. And so if we're going to hang out with God, we're in trouble because we don't have pure hands and a pure heart. And we don't have clean hands and a pure heart. And we're not free of idolatry in our lives. So if you're going to qualify to go to heaven, dear ones, yourself, you've got to be, listen closely, you've got to be completely holy. You've got to be completely perfect. You've got to be the person that never does anything wrong and is always completely right and righteous. And many of us try to make this excuse, well, maybe if I just do enough good things that will outweigh the bad things, sort of like there's a scale, if you will, with God, and I know that I do some bad things, but maybe I'll do just enough good things with God that will tip the balance, and when I die, He will let me into heaven because my good outweighs my bad. No, that doesn't work that way, because no matter how many good works that you do in your life, it still doesn't solve the problem. The problem is not with your external, the problem is with your internal. Because the real issue for our lives is not what we do outwardly, it's what we are inwardly. It's our sinful nature contrary to the nature of God. That's the biggest problem. So our outward stuff that we do comes from a heart that is unclean. Look at Romans chapter 3, verse 12. All have turned away. All have become useless. No one does good, not a single one.